Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Football, presented by Adam Lowy and the
Nice.
Lowy Law Firm. I'm your host, Blake Monroe. I'm joined every day by Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton. Tell us where you're checking in from this morning, what you're drinking, get your questions in. We got questions about Jerry's hat.
Yeah. Well, look,
What is that?
I've been wearing the Anna High School hat, so I was going through some other hats I have. And Coach Red Barron's one of the nicest coaches in the state of Texas, longtime coach at Saxe High. He gave me this one a few years ago, so I'm figuring I'd wear this for the show today. Get Tony Hills even more fired up, like I'm old Coach Barron coaching him, right? Bill Barron coaching Tony Hills.
Love it. Love it.
I'm going to start breaking out some of the old high school hats and things coaches have given me, I think.
Well, one of the coaches up in the Metroplex, or one of the guys up in the Metroplex, sent me a note on Saturday, Jerry, and said he's going to send us one that may be coming your way, by the way.
Nice.
So you may have one that's added to it. Guys, we are 4 days away, 72 hours from kickoff now, I guess, for the Longhorns against Vanderbilt. Tough matchup for Texas. Rain has kind of crept into the forecast a little bit, I think, is the best way to say it. Texas 2.5-point favorites. What's interesting to me is, even though most people believe Arch Manning is not going to play, the line hasn't moved. I mean, an inkling. Essentially, it's rotated between 3.5 to 1.5 points in favor of the Longhorns. But, Jerry, it's not moving like you would think it might if we got news one way or the other on number 16 for the Longhorns.
Did the line go up after he was pulled over in Austin yesterday at all? Can you drive in protocol? I don't know. I mean, chat, doctors.
Yeah, it's crazy. The reality of it is we will get the first injury report later today. Comes out every Wednesday around 7 o'clock. We're actually going to have Dr. Brett Robin on tonight to discuss the injury protocol for concussions. The former Longhorn running back. He's also a sponsor of ours on Monday nights with Talking Ball, but he'll be on later tonight to talk with folks about that, to give his take on what's going on there. Obviously, he's limited with the knowledge, but we can also talk to him a little bit about some Texas football. We'll have Tony Hills on the show later this morning. Of course, it's Hump Day with Hills. All kinds of news and notes coming up. Some more scholarship offers going out last night, although they were to class of 27 and 28 guys. So Texas making the rounds. One of them, Katie Tompkins, Jerry. The big guy over there. All right, before we go any further, I need to say thank you to our sponsor every Wednesday. It is Adam Lowy and the Lowy Law Firm. If you've been injured in a car wreck, truck wreck, automobile accident of any kind, and think you might be due compensation, make sure you reach out to Adam and his firm. They've been helping injured Texans for more than 20 years. They'll give you a free, no strings attached consultation to see if you might be due compensation. Adam's a Texas law school grad, can help you if you need it. Again, loweylawfirm.com. Adam, thank you for your sponsorship, not only of On Texas Football, but all you do for University of Texas athletics behind the scenes.
Good stuff. All right, let's talk a little recruiting, Jerry. Let's jump over to that this morning. Some visitors coming in for the Vanderbilt game.
Yeah, the list is starting to build out Wednesday, as you'd expect. 3 confirmations of committed players. It's not the only guys that'll be in, but Jermaine Bishop, Nicholas Robertson texted me this morning that he will be there. Jermaine Bishop Jr., Hayward Howard Jr. So we're going to be watching to see if anybody else is in the car with him on Saturday. I'm not saying Richard Anderson's coming in, but boy, would that be good for Texas. And then obviously Karan Maycock, the linebacker committed to FSU from Miami Central, is making his OV. Teray Davis, the defensive back from Boulder Fairview, unofficial visit. He made an OV to Washington last week. And Amir Brown, running back from Rollsville. There's some other 27s that'll be in. But this list is starting to build out. Again, Arkansas, November 22nd, is the feature weekend for Texas in November, because that is a flex start. So that game will either be at 2:30-ish or a night game. That is kind of – the 11 a.m. start is really difficult to get a lot of kids in. So that, again, that November 22nd has kind of been the game Texas has had circled for a while from a recruiting standpoint. And also a lot of kids will be – high school seasons will have ended by then. But they do have 2 out-of-state 2026 visitors in this weekend. it won't shock me if there's not another one or two added to this list as we get closer to Saturday. But most of the 27s that I've texted DM'd with this week, they had all been planning to come to the Arkansas game. Peyton Miller from Anna, I think Alvin Crawford from Mosley, Tay Ellis from Crowley. Some of those guys are talking about coming to the Arkansas game and or the A&M game. So I think that is that's where things are at right now. We'll see if anybody else gets added to this list. Texas is still trying to get Micah Smith in from Vero Beach. I think Ohio State, despite being committed to UCLA, Ohio State's the team to beat there. They'll be there. We'll see if Drake Quinn pops up on campus in November. I think some more guys will pop up on campus. I think that's still part of the planning process. I think Drake Quinn was more likely to come in for the Arkansas weekend.
Well, one thing I wanted to bring up this morning, and I actually put this on social media yesterday, and a lot of opposing teams fans weighed in on this.
What is this?
A lot of Longhorns, but ESPN has their win probabilities, for every remaining Longhorn game. Texas, of course, going to face 3 current top 10 teams over the next few weeks. And guys, the Longhorns, according to ESPN, favored to win in 3 of them. I'm going to put it up here on the screen, but as you can see, according to ESPN Analytics, 70.5 against Vanderbilt, 84.5 against Arkansas, 57.8% against A&M, and then the lowest, the one that they don't believe in Texas, is against Georgia, where Texas has a 40.3% chance.
What are these models? I mean, this is a fair question. What are these models seeing that maybe we aren't, or the general fan is not seeing, Jerry and Blake? And that's a question for the chat. I mean, what are they seeing that we're not? Texas certainly has shown they have a spine the last 2 weeks, but these numbers or these ideas, I mean, a 58% chance of beating A&M, even though I guess it's at home.
That's the whole deal. It's the home game. It's the home advantage is what I think shifts the number big. Like Arkansas, not very good team, but Texas would be favored neutral. Then they get the big bump for being at home. Obviously, Texas is getting a bump over A&M being at home because Texas has not played better football than A&M to this point.
That's what I'm saying. So it's got to be more than home. There's something else about the Texas team that stats people like. And I'm here to listen. I just don't know that I agree with it based on what we've seen thus far. Obviously, I hope Texas goes 4-0 over the next 4 games. Yeah. But 3-1 would be pretty good. Let's see what happens here, I guess. But if anybody has knowledge beyond what Jerry just said with home field, let us know. I don't know it. I don't get it. So.
By the way, I do like the Texas matchup against Vanderbilt. Bobby, you watched the Missouri game. I'd watch that Sunday. I like Texas matchup against Vanderbilt. I really do in this game. I think the Vanderbilt right guard and both their tackles could have their work cut out for them against Texas defensive front this week. And I just think Texas has some advantages in this game. And I think they have some advantages skill-wise on offense. I know Clark Lee's a really good defensive coach, and I know they're going to play sound football, but I like Texas against Vanderbilt. I just think it's a good matchup for Texas.
If Arch Manning goes, I think that it's a really good matchup because he can hit the deep ball, Jerry. Mm-hmm. We don't know if that's what Matthew Caldwell can do. So I think from an offensive standpoint, I'm a little, how's this all going to work with a new quarterback? From a defense perspective, and I wrote this morning on OnTexasFootball.com, Jerry, and I know you noticed it too. We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
If the thing with Colin Simmons, Ethan Burke, Brad Spence, Zena, Lance Jackson, all these guys, what they cannot do on Saturday is rush upfield, hell or come high water. They have to be conscientious of how they rush Diego Pavia. Because if a defensive end flies past Diego Pavia, he is escaping immediately to that side. I mean, it's like I mean, I noticed it yesterday against Missouri, Jerry. Somebody flies past him, he immediately goes to that vacated area and buys himself more time or tucks it down and runs. So when Colin Simmons and those guys are coming up field, whoever it may be, do not go past the quarterback, because that is where a lot, and I mean a lot, of their big plays come, is when Pavia gets extra time or Pavia essentially goes into a vacated area by a defender that's just flown by him kind of willy-nilly. So hopefully Texas is working on that. They did that last year. I thought Texas did a good job last year, more so with Marcel Reed than Pavia, by the way. They kind of kept Reed in the pocket most of last year. I think they could try to do something similar here against Pavia on Saturday.
Yeah, look, I think Missouri's really good on defense, by the way.
Yes. Yeah, they are.
Really good on defense. And what makes them good is that ability to create havoc, right? And I think that'll be interesting. I mean, Pavia made some plays. He did not have big rush yards in that game. It'll be interesting to see kind of how that looks, because I think Texas is comparable on the edge to Missouri, and I think they may be better on the interior. So they had 2 sacks, Damon Wilson a half a sack, Zion Young. So both the edges actually it was Sterling Webb, and then Nicholas Rodriguez had half a sack, but Zion Young and Damon Wilson wreaking havoc without putting up big numbers in that game. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the Texas defense compares to Missouri in this game. And Vanderbilt's also on the road in this game. But I think Texas has some favorable matchups. Now, the big part of that is you have to be able to cover Eli Stowers. That is a big part of this is they're going to be hunting matchups for Stowers. And those matchups are going to be on whoever they perceive is the weakest link in the Texas secondary they can exploit, or linebackers more than likely, right? But that is going to be the interesting part, because what do the kind of the game within the game, what does PK do with Anthony Hill in this game? Because he unleashed him against Mississippi State, but there wasn't a run threat at quarterback against Mississippi State. So what does he do with him this week? Because I think for this Texas defense to maximize, he's got to be getting after the quarterback. I think we're seeing it. Colin Simmons and Anthony Hill together. That's really what they need to maximize their pass rush.
Let's see. Up next. Oh, let me read this super chat real quick from Maddie M. Thank you, Maddie. We appreciate you all the time for putting these in. He says, "Good morning, guys, and Happy Heels Day. Thanks for all your excellent work. Got my football and volleyball tickets for this weekend. I'm excited. Hey, Bobby, please consider adding a Coffee and Football branded cap to your merchandise. Count me in as the first to buy."
We may do that. Thanks for the thought, Maddie. I hadn't even considered that. I just kind of kept it on Texas football. We'll see where that goes. But I think, Maddie, that might be something we could do for Christmas. Look, the whole idea of Texas. This is a good. Who does volleyball play this weekend, Blake? Do we know and when they play that?
Give me 2 seconds.
One of the things, because I actually might go to that game. I don't have anything going on Friday night. If it's on Friday night, one of the things that's cool if you go in a day early to Austin is go see the university itself and go to another game or another event to kind of get a real feel for what's going on at Texas right now. Because a lot of people go to the football games and it's just football. I mean, we all get it, but there's some really good things happening elsewhere. The women's volleyball team remains undefeated right now, by the way, ranked number 2 in the country. They are, it looks like, on a collision course with. Oh wow, it's A&M. That may be sold
at
out.
A&M, but Texas is home.
At A&M.
Yeah, at A&M, but Texas is home Sunday for Kentucky.
And that game's sold out for Kentucky.
The Kentucky game sold out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So, anyways, all right. Well, I'm going to be there on Sunday too, so I may go to that one. But my point is, when you go into town, go support if you get a chance, go support one of the other sports. They're fun. Get out, get some fresh air. It's that time of year. Even though, you get into a gym, it's still going out and doing something different.
So we need that. We'll add Chris Stewart. Chris Stewart. We'll add Chris Stewart to the visitors list for us for Saturday.
Was that his dad? Was that his dad? You think? Yeah. Commenting.
Yeah.
Good. Shadow Creek wide receiver.
And I think a lot of guys will be to have Friday games. I think they'll come down Saturday morning for this game.
Gotcha.
Well, let's take a look at the SEC schedule this week, guys. As y'all can see, many games on the slate. Texas and Vanderbilt, and then Tennessee and Oklahoma being the two top 25 matchups. But a lot of interesting games around SEC land.
Yeah, Georgia at Florida. Who knows what to expect with Florida, right? They might come out and give the most inspired effort of all time. You just don't know against Georgia. What's interesting is Georgia has Florida in the rivalry game, then at Mississippi State. They don't get the off week before Texas. Texas gets the off week before Georgia, something I'm sure we'll be talking about next week. One is Oklahoma at Tennessee. Bobby, because you mentioned in a text thread, and it's going to be so interesting what happens with Brent Venables. If they lose the next two road games, they're sitting at 6-4 with 2 to go. And so most people will have Brent Venables fired. But then they have home games to close it out, and one's with a coachless LSU the last game of the season. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out for Brent Venables. But if they lose the next two road games, then all the talk is going to be, is he gone?
Yeah, he's got Tennessee this weekend and Alabama next weekend. So he likely, I mean, the odds are he's 6-4.
That's 100% right.
Going into the final 2 weeks, and then he gets Missouri, who's down to quarterback number 3, and LSU not only doesn't have a head coach, they fired their offensive coordinator too. So he could save his job with an 8-4 season, probably. That's kind of what we're hearing at this point. 7-5 may not do it for him though.
Yeah. Well, here's the question. This is where the coaching carousel these days gets interesting. If they lose to Tennessee and Alabama, do they pull the plug and not give them a chance to beat hapless, injured Missouri and coachless LSU? Do they make the same move an A&M did with Jimbo to say, whoa, we're not – Florida did with Billy Napier, not giving him a chance to beat Georgia and turn the thing around? What does Oklahoma do? Because that's become the move of ADs and universities is to get these guys out before they have a chance to close out a season, and then it puts you in no man's land. I don't know what Oklahoma's going to do. I don't have that insight, but I do know if they lose to Tennessee and Alabama on the road the next 2 weeks, they're 6-4, and they're not going to be ranked in the top 25. And do they pull the plug at that point, or do they give him a chance to win the next two and get to 8-4?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That Georgia-Florida game, the line's 7.5 for Georgia. That is, of course, in Jacksonville. It's a neutral site game, even though it says at Florida. If Georgia doesn't win that by 2 touchdowns, I'll be really surprised. They're not going to go win one for the Gipper against Georgia. I don't see that happening. So I feel like that Florida team has been on the cusp of falling apart for a while, and I think Napier was probably the only thing stringing that thing together, that and Jaden Ball. So I could be wrong, but I expect Georgia to beat the you-know-what out of Florida on Saturday.
I want to bring up this super chat real quick before we move on here. This one from Jet Jones. Thank you, Jet. He says, my father is having heart surgery as we speak. He's a lifetime Longhorn, and he loves watching OTF content. Please keep him in your prayers. Thank you, and hook him.
Jet, we will absolutely do that. My dad has had his own issues in that regard. I know what you can be going through, dude. And I think everybody here feels for that situation. Good luck to you today, man. And to your dad.
Definitely. Okay, well, we have Tony Hills joining us here in just a little bit, so we'll have that. But first, Bobby, I'm going to let you tell everyone about Mint Mobile this morning.
We should let Tony do some of these ad reads. There's no telling. He would give Jerry a run for his money, I think, from the energy perspective at least. Mint Mobile, you know what doesn't belong in your college football game plans? Getting burned by your wireless bill. Well, you're planning barbecues and 3-day weekends for Texas football games. Your wireless bill should be the last thing holding you back. That's why you can make the switch to Mint Mobile. It's the wireless plan I sent my son off to college with. With Mint, you can get the coverage and speed you're used to, but for way less money. And for a limited time, Mint Mobile is offering 3 months of unlimited premium wireless service for just $15 a month. So while your friends are sweating over data overages and surprise charges, you'll be chilling, literally and financially. This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get this new customer offer and your 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/OnTexas. That's mintmobile.com/OnTexas. Upfront payment of $45 is required. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Thank you to Mint Mobile for sponsoring On Texas Football.
And I'm going to tell everyone about Huel as well. That's Huel, Huel. You ever have those mornings where you're running out the door, no time for breakfast? That was me pretty much every day, but now I've got Huel. It's my go-to. 35 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, 27 essential vitamins and minerals, no added sugar, and it's gluten-free. It's under $5 a meal, ready to go. I drink it daily. It keeps me sharp and not hangry. My energy smoother all day. No crash, no skipping meals, just solid focus. And now they've added the daily greens ready to drink as well. It tastes fresh, clean, and it's only 25 calories. You're getting 42 vitamins, minerals, and superfoods with that thing. 4 grams of fiber and just 1 gram of sugar. It's the perfect morning pick-me-up or midday reset. If you're busy like me and you want healthy eating made simple, grab both of them. Huel's now in Target stores nationwide, or you can order online. Get 15% off your first purchase with code ONTEXAS at Huel.com/OnTexas. That's Huel, HUEL.com/OnTexas using promo code ONTexas. And last but not least, I'm going to tell you about Prize Picks as well, because we love Prize Picks and we make decisions daily. But on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. And it's simple to play. You're just going to pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. It's the best way to get in on sports action in more than 40 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and right here in Texas. And this week, I had UTEP quarterback Skylar Locklear with over 202.5 passing yards. Texas State running back Lincoln Pear over 70.5 rushing yards. And UTSA running back Robert Henry to have at least 1 touchdown. So come join me on those picks or make your own in less than 60 seconds. Turn your sports opinions into real money. Download that Prize Picks app today. Use code ONTexas to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, ONTexas to get $50 in lineups after you play your $5 lineup. And that's Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Jerry, that hat is it's growing on me. I like it.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
It is a good one.
Keep if you're a high school coach and you're on the field every day, it keeps that sunburn off your neck and your ears.
Yep. Good stuff.
I won't golf in this though. No chance.
Why not? Is it getting your peripheral?
No, and I won't eat at Outback Steakhouse in this either. This is for a show. This is for a show.
You won't eat at Outback Steakhouse with this.
I'm not rolling in with this thing on. That's for
how
sure.
about at Hayes City or
no? And I won't do the Texas Duke watch. We're gonna have a Texas Duke basketball watch with us next week for the game, and I will not be wearing that on that either. Not be wearing this hat on that either.
What are y'all gonna be for Halloween? I already got mine. I've got mine picked out. You're not gonna tell me?
No.
I've got mine picked out, and I'm excited about it for Halloween. I'm excited.
Yeah, J Dobbs. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, like I don't. That's not the look I'm going for. Right?
Jerry looks like a senior golfer on tour.
That's the comment you don't want right there. That's why it's after the show. Thank you, Coach Barons. I love it for its purpose.
Well, as we wait for Tony Hills, he's here. Never mind. We'll come back to Clark Lee in just a little bit. Tony Hills is here. Jerry must be doing something special. I'm going to bring Tony in. Good morning, Tony.
Hey, man, what's happening right now, man? Hook 'em horns. I hope everybody is doing excellent, wonderfully well, phenomenally phenomenal, too blessed to be stressed. And if you are, well, nobody's worried about it. Welcome to OTF,
Hey.
Coffee and Football. We here. What's happening, Blake? Good to hear you. Bobby, good to see you.
Hey, what was Casa de Hills feeling like on Saturday afternoon when the Longhorns came back against Mississippi State? I could only imagine there were some fist pumps, maybe some chest bumps going on when that comeback was happening. What was happening there? Describe it for us, Tony.
I am taking a natural blood thinner, not blood thinner. I am taking a natural blood pressure pill, Bobby. That is what we're doing today. I've gone to the roots of Africa, and I've asked the people there to give me something natural to help relieve these headaches and these emotions that I'm feeling within my body right now. Man, it was great to see, man. I'll tell you this. We can talk about all of the mistakes and all of those things, penalties and all of that, the ebbs and flows. But there's one thing that you got to give these kids, man, is that they fight their tail off. And it seems as though soon as, people start to count them out, somebody on that team makes a play that makes the difference, that changes the whole momentum, man. And, that I heard Sark talking about a cultural win. That definitely was a cultural win. In times past, we've seen, Longhorn teams kind of fold in those particular situations. But this group just has a fight about them that, until the last 0 strikes in that fourth quarter clock or in overtime, the game's not over. So it was definitely a good day to be a Longhorn. I'll tell you that much.
Tony, what did you see?
The hoodie and you didn't, Tony. What the heck, man?
Well, the thing is that I felt it in my spirit that you were going to wear the hoodie today, man. So I wanted to make sure that you get all of the praise that you needed.
I just want to be like Tony Hills.
There can only be one hoodie wearer per episode. I must have felt something.
Tony, the fourth quarter, Texas was able to get some pass protection for Arch. It wasn't perfect, but it was categorically different than the first 3 quarters. Yeah. Did you see anything that Texas did in that fourth quarter from an offensive approach that changed the outcome as far as their ability to protect the quarterback?
Yeah, they started going more solid protection as it pertains to drop back. And they started figuring out how Mississippi State wanted to attack them. So Mississippi State wanted to attack them in the gaps. That's why they had the stack linebacker look, to be able to confuse the interior 3. A lot of times when pressure get home, it's not usually around the edges. The edges usually are safe and protected as long as the interior portion of the pocket is, right? Because you can always run guys around. But if the interior of your pocket is in disarray, quarterback doesn't stand a chance. So what started happening is, it seemed to me, they started identifying who the Mike linebacker was and calling the stack linebacker maybe the down lineman, or making them interchangeable. However it played out, they knew that they were responsible for those 2 guys. And so however those guys hit the gap, the interior 3 did a good job passing off the stunts. And that gave Arch time. And another thing for Arch is not having his back turned to the ball and trying to locate his receivers, right? Being able to just be in a drop back mode, see how the pitcher is standing out, slide away from the pressure and throw strikes. And that's the offense. It's like we talked about last week, Bobby. You got to keep it simplistic. These guys are young up front, but when they know what they're doing, they've shown you that they can be pretty good when they know exactly what they're doing.
So you used a term there at the very outset. I'm trying to remember the exact term you said. It wasn't just keep it simple. They kept it more. What was the term you used when you said that what Texas did in the fourth quarter?
As it pertains to the pass protection?
Yes.
Yeah, it seems as though they were able to identify the Mike backer and the down lineman. So all they did was just identify how they wanted to hit them in the gaps. So they kept the pocket presence, pure interiorly. That's the biggest difference that I saw.
Okay. Yeah, there's a term you used I wasn't familiar with, but I can't recall it.
Hey Tony, Joshy Manning had this super chat earlier, or he brought the super chat. Brandon Baker, the growth. Somebody else asked about this as well.
Yeah.
What the growth you've seen in Brandon Baker, because it does seem like he is playing at a higher level right now and kind of coming into his own as he's getting more game reps under his belt.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is this is what we talked about at the beginning. The only way you get better as an offensive lineman is playing the game. You're not going to get better sitting on the sideline. And so what's happened is after, 7-8 weeks of being able to be an SEC play, you start to figure it out. This kid's always had, look, he was a 5-star recruit. He's always had the talent. For him, it was about knowing how to play SEC ball, right? And so he's figured out himself. He's figured out how he plays within the scope of the framework of what Texas is wanting to do. And he's like he's always been an athletic guy. He's figured out how to, take on, the bull rush and sit down a little bit, get underneath guys, get guys around. And he fights like crazy, man. I think this game, he only gave up like one pressure. Yep. And that's saying a lot considering, the disarray that the offensive line was in pretty much throughout the entire game. To say, hey, this guy is the guy that stood up for the majority of the game. That's growth. That's something for you to be able to build on. So, extremely happy and proud of that dude. And it just goes to show the work that he's doing and what Coach Flood and those guys are doing with him.
Tony, a game like Saturdays has a chance to be a springboard of sorts, right? Go on the road for 4 straight weeks, really, if you include Florida, and then going to Dallas, up to Lexington, in Starkville last weekend. 42 days since Texas has played at home. I don't know if you've ever had that sort of time away from playing at home at any level. It's kind of unheard of in football. You think that this is going to parlay into some momentum against Vanderbilt for Texas?
I mean, it definitely has the ability to. You're at home, right? You're comfortable. There's no, making sure that you get to the stadium at a particular time, catching the bus, get on the plane, fly miles upon miles, get to a hotel, get set up, have meetings, all of these particular things. I'm in a comfortable environment. I'm at home. I know my routine. So, yeah, I mean, there are certain advantages from a mental preparation standpoint. Home field advantage from an offensive line standpoint. You not have to worry about crowd noise. So now you can kind of just fire off and tee off on the ball. That helps. Being able to hear the adjustments, make the adjustments, that helps. So there's a lot of positives. Look, I've never been on the road for 42 days. That almost sounds like a basketball team, And so whoever put that schedule together, they need to be looked at. They need to be evaluated. But I will say this. When you look at everything that this Texas team has gone through, from the berating of Arch's performance to the berating of the offensive line, and rightfully so, right? They haven't played extremely well. But when you take into consideration everything that they have endured and be sitting here at 5-2 with an opportunity to control your destiny for the next 4 weeks, right? I mean, listen, that's special. That's special. And it goes to show you the mentality that those guys have. So now what happens if we can duplicate the performance that we had, that back half of that Mississippi State game, and then have a defense that's not as tired? Reality of it is the defense that we saw out there was not ours. And they know it. They'll come back. They'll be refreshed. They'll be ready to play. But, I mean, listen, these guys are playing 80-something snaps. Typically, you want your defense somewhere around 40 to 50 snaps, 60 at the most. You know what I mean? So to play back-to-back 80-plus snaps and to go out there and to be able to put that performance in the crucial moments. You didn't have the performance that you wanted as it pertains to dominance, but you dominated situational football. And when you can dominate situational football is when I have to have that play is had. And they have answered the bell all season with that. Special teams as well. Where in the heck will we be without Ryan Niblett?
Hey, Tony, I got a really important question from the chat. Who wins an Oklahoma drill between Tony Hills and Jeremy Hills?
Oh, I'm killing him all day.
I know you didn't do it on the football field. Did y'all have Oklahoma drill like in that living room at some point when y'all had arguments?
Yeah, no, he ran away from me. When I got really upset, his number one move was, I'm gonna tell mama. Yeah, he knew that was the only thing, because my mama worked really, really hard and I didn't want to put stress on. He knew that's the only thing. But it becomes certain points where I just didn't care. I tell you where he will get me though. Anything speed wise, I can't touch him. I can't touch him. He operates in his genius in that regard. But I tell you this, he gonna fight his butt off though. He ain't gonna just let me have it.
There you go. Tony, we look at this game going forward. You mentioned firing off the ball more. You think Texas being at home, do you want to see more of what they did in the fourth quarter where they kind of just aired it out? Do you want to see them try to establish more run game than they have? I mean, what do you think the recipe is for this Texas offense that, look, they look great throwing it around 46 times, 47 times on Saturday at times, but they got to have some semblance of a run game at some point, right?
Yeah, no, that's not sustainable. You can't play that type of football. They were in a situation where they had no choice, right? So they had to do that. Obviously we know Arch won't be playing this game. Here's what I expect to see with the guy that's had a lot of football played as a I think 4th, 5th year senior. When it comes to identifying defenses, they're not going to be able to blitz him the same way they can blitz Arch because he knows where to go with the ball. And the reason why I know that is one play and one play only. When you come in off the bench, I need people to understand this part. This guy has not played the entire game. Now we're in overtime. He comes off the bench, and he doesn't just come off the bench. He comes off the bench, hits a strike, puts it in the belly. As Emmett is going across the wrong way, slows the play down, gets everybody in control. Hey, don't snap. Hey, E, slide over to the right, come in a little bit, makes the adjustment for the fade ball, boom, touchdown. You do not just come off the bench and do that. I'm telling you, that's special. That's somebody that has a control of the offense, that's played some ball, that understands pressure moments. I'm excited to see how defenses are now going to attack him. And the thing is that defenses really don't have a lot. They don't have any film on him in this offense. So that's to an advantage for us. What I expect to see is I expect Sark to, from the run game, I'm not going to say I expect. This is what my hope is. I hope he doesn't give up on the run game because I keep hearing this narrative. Texas can't run the football. Texas can't run the football. We have to change a word. Texas is not committed to running the football. And that's just the reality. Yep. The run game is not something to where you pop off 10, 15, 20 yards every time you touch the ball. The run game does a couple of things. One, it establishes a physicality with your front to be able to dominate the trenches in the latter half of the game. Two, it gives your defense the amount of rest that they need to be able to rest and recover and then get out there and go tear some stuff up on the football field.
Yes.
Three, it balances out blitzes because when you pop those things when they're blocked up right for 20, 30 yards, defenses now have to stop doing that. And then four, it opens up all of the passing lanes because now we're having to play softer coverage and bring down you have to bring down 8-man boxes sometimes. Those are big plays one-on-one. If now we're getting hit in 7-man boxes and we can lean on the running game, those are big plays from 6- and 7-man boxes, i.e. OU. So the run game is so important to the entire format of football in general. You have to be committed to that, though. You can't just run these, sideways plays, right? Long screens and all of these particular things, and then they don't pop, and then you say, okay, we're just going to abandon it and start throwing it all over the field. You can't do that. This team, as we go back to what I've said before, this team is a duo team, man-to-man blocking. This team is a tight zone, and then you can play some wide zone in there. If you want to throw things up, traps and counters, and then screens just to throw the defense off with play calls, kind of like throwaway plays to see what happens, that's fine. But the nucleus of what your offensive line can do because of their size is going to be going north and south. That's who they are. Drop back protection, being able to see everything in front of them, making sure the interior three can identify who is the down lineman and who is the Mike. We're responsible for that. We're ready to rock and roll. This quarterback, I believe, is going to understand blitzes and side adjustments, and I'm excited to see how he performs with the knowledge that he has in this type of offense.
Tony, I'm going to add one more to it. In the SEC, you have to be able to run the football.
You definitely do.
You are not going to survive. Well, you can do it in a pinch, in a game, maybe a little streak, but over the time in this league, you have to be able to run the football. It's the history is right there for everybody. There's too many big, fast athletes in the front sevens of this league. You have to be able to run the football.
You do. And you have to be able to run it between the tackles.
That's right.
Yeah, it's not like because at the end of the day, there's no getting around. Like you're going to see some big humans. It's a mentality.
Yep.
Right. We're big humans. So put big humans on big humans and let the best big human win. That's SEC ball.
Tony, thank you as always, my man. Appreciate you very much. We'll be looking forward to hearing from you again next week. And hopefully Texas is able to run the ball and control the game a little bit on Saturday with this Vanderbilt team. But we shall see. Tony, thank you, buddy. Hook 'em horns.
Appreciate it. I will be at the game. So anybody that's there, holla at your man. Hook 'em, baby.
Bring your hoodie. It's gonna be chilly. Bring your hoodie. It's gonna be chilly, Tony.
I got you.
Thanks, Tony.
All right.
What do you think Tony's going as a for Halloween? I think he might go.
Great question. We should have asked him.
We should have asked him. We didn't ask him his prediction for the game.
You know, it'd be funny as if he went as a cornerback. As a cornerback. Like 6'5", 300 pounds, like heck has the arm sleeves, wears like a low number jersey, has like
the gloves.
Like has the gloves, has a football pants up to his thighs, like go as a cornerback.
Yeah. Forgot to ask him his score. I'm going to text him, ask him for his score update real quick. Hey, Blake, you had done some good work for us today in bringing up what Clark Lee had to say about Arch Manning as well as Matthew Caldwell in that situation. You want to do that now? You got something else we got to do first.
Yeah, let's jump over to that. He was asked multiple times. First he was asked how he would prepare for him, but the clip I'm about to play y'all is he talks about the strengths that he sees from both quarterbacks.
Both really good players, both have arm talent and the ability to throw it. Obviously, I've seen a lot. I think both athletic. Arch has shown his ability to run the ball, to be a physical runner too. He's strong, big frame. I think imbalanced rush shows up as something that, meaning when the cage isn't quite right, Arch has shown the ability to make you pay for that. And so, again, I think, with Arch, you see the elite talent, all the recognition he gets for a reason, the arm strength, the decision making. With Caldwell, again, with the sample size we have, here's a guy who's played in his career, who has gotten into games this year. It certainly did a great job coming in against Mississippi State. Appears to be confident, appears to be comfortable, and is going to be dangerous all the same. So there are things that make them unique. Obviously, I think their skill sets are similar. We know a little more about Arch this season just because he's played more snaps, but both have the ability to be dangerous and a threat. And again, so much of this is also about the supporting cast out there too.
I like that. I like Clark Lee, by the way, as a speaker. Pretty clear and articulate. I would say this. It's something that we can mix with what Tony said. And Tony said, look, they don't have much film of Matthew Caldwell. They have prior film of him from other teams, but they don't have film of him in this offense. And so that could be an X factor on Saturday, because you could tell he knew Arch like the back of his hand, kind of. He didn't have to look at his notes for Arch. When he started talking about Caldwell, he looked down at his notes a little bit, clearly not knowing what he can and can't do. How about Tony's articulation of moving Mosley over to the right side too, in the that one play in overtime that he hit Mosley for that touchdown? That's good stuff. Thanks for putting that together, Blake. Appreciate it.
I think one of the things with Caldwell is, when if you actually are engaged in your team, which these guys nowadays are paid to be engaged in the team, even if you don't think you're going to play, being on the sidelines, being by the huddle, being by the coaches the whole game, that can really help you just from a standpoint of watching everything going on, watching what's working, watching what's not working, and you're not there in the live game action, so to speak. But if you're actually paying attention and attentive, you can pick up a lot of really good things when you go into the game. And you see it all the time. You see it with a a backup point guard in basketball, right? The starting point guard goes down. If that guy's attentive, if he's sitting there listening to the coaches, if they're having conversations while he's not in the game, you can really be prepared when you go in to do the little things and not just go in and have to go make a playoff schedule. And I think Matthew Caldwell, somebody brought up yesterday how attentive he really is on the sidelines. They noticed that. That guy's very engaged. It's almost like he wants to be a coach one day. Let's remember that.
Hope so. That would be the best, right, Jerry?
Those are the guys you want.
Yeah, that would be ideal. Let's see how it goes. I by the way, I mean, we're acting like Arch is definitively not going to be playing. I don't think he will, as we sit here on Wednesday. But the first injury report does not come out until tonight.
Yeah,
and I do believe he's past phase 1 of the concussion protocol. Now it's a 6-step phase, and I don't know where he's at in that phase or in that protocol grouping, but I believe he's out of phase 1. So it all depends on where he's at, when he's at, and if they want to play him in that scenario too. I mean, it's not just because he's cleared doesn't mean that he plays. Let's remember that too.
Yeah. All right, Jerry, you got a couple of sponsors to tell us about this morning. Let's start with Harry's.
I can do that. Harry's Plus Pro is the new razor. This is what you need, and it's good for on the go. You like that? All right. Harry's has done something very big here. They launched a brand new razor called the Harry's Plus. Harry spent 10 years developing their most advanced razor yet. Yes, an entire decade of R&D for the smoothest possible shave. This is their biggest launch in the history of their company. If you're looking for an incredibly advanced shave, but still want to pay less than other premium brands, Harry's Plus is the product for you. It has an advanced pivoting system to make reaching all corners of your face even easier. Very important. In even closer, more comfortable shave. Blade spacing is optimized to glide smoothly and avoid clogging. That's what you don't want to hear. As a weighted metal handle, I feel it, and our heaviest handle for yet more control. With Harry's, you get a barbershop quality shave with German engineered blades. Each blade is honed with 3 different angles to cut hair cleanly at the root without tugging. The tugging feeling is the worst. So if you want to get this new Harry's product, then you should. For a limited time, our listeners at On Texas Football can get Harry's Plus trial set for only $10 at harrys.com/OnTexas, all caps. That set includes the all-new Harry's Plus razor I'm holding, 1 refined 5-blade cartridge, 2 ounces of foaming gel, and a travel cover to protect your blades on the go. Just head to harrys.com/OnTexas to claim this offer. And after your purchase, they'll ask where you heard about him. It's pretty simple. You say, the home of Hump Day with Hills.
How about Hayes City Store?
Yeah, I would love to tell you about Hayes City Store. I'm actually going to be at Hayes City Store Friday morning for the coffee and football live stream. There are very few restaurants that once you go to, you immediately know they're just special. The first time I ever went to Hayes City Store with Jason Watts, a longtime friend we grew up together who's on this chat, I knew Hayes City Store is one of those places. I sat back and watched college football for hours. It's scratch-made Texas comfort food. They've got their famous truck stop enchiladas, award-winning chicken fried steak, and homemade desserts. All of it delicious, all of it from scratch. There's also live music 6 nights a week with 50 beer taps, ice-cold long necks, and tasty margaritas. There are 13 TVs alone in their ice house, perfect for game days. Great watching there for games. And they even have brunch served from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. every single Sunday. Hayes City Store's dog-friendly, unless you're a Georgia Bulldog fan, and they have tree nets for kids. That's not in the read. I added that, by the way. Join the folks out at Hayes City Store and bring your whole crew. For more information, check the website, hayescitystoretx.com. Hayes City Store, it's uniquely Texas.
No Georgia Bulldogs allowed at Hayes City Store.
No. Hey, by the way, I got to change out this hoodie. I don't know. Tony Hills could not do an hour show in this hoodie. I guarantee I'll be right back. No,
is it just too hot for him, I guess? He works up a sweat, baby. Hey, do you have another Clark Lee?
I do, Bobby. He was asked about the Texas defense, and he had quite a bit to say. So let's play that next.
Well, I mean, they're big and physical through the middle. They make run space hard to come by. And I think they're maybe third in the country in rushing defense or something to that effect. That shows up. This is a team, if you get third and off schedule, they're hard to protect against. There's a lot of talented, long guys that are fast and are collapsing the pocket. Staying on schedule is a huge part of trying to find success. And then there is space on the film, not for any flaw, but just because, each week there should be some level of space. And we have to be really skilled at designing formationally to understand where that space is going to be, and then we have to execute to attack it. And I don't see a lot of weaknesses for him. You asked about players. I think across the board, this is, again, a really talented group. But we believe in who we are, and in terms of our system, it's designed to try to challenge the defense. So, how do we focus on us? How do we understand what makes them good, and how do we focus on us and our execution, and try to create challenges for them to solve for? And you mentioned too, and I think this team in general, Texas, they know how to close the gap. They're never out of the game. And so it's going to take a 4-quarter effort, we have to play well over 4 quarters, but we don't have to play above who we are, right? This is about playing Vanderbilt football. So nothing extra, just focus and execution, and guys showing up with the right attitude, right emotional energy for an 11 a.m. kick. But I trust our guys to do that.
Clark, I got news for you. You may need a little extra in DKR. I disagree with him on that. He may need a little extra. I'm not saying they're not capable of it, but he may need a little extra.
You know what's interesting? We talk about Texas establishing a run. Vanderbilt absolutely has to establish a run in Austin Saturday. They did not against Missouri. They had an 80-yard run. Outside of that, they had 25 carries for 50 yards. Their running backs, Michael and Young had the 80-yard run. Yes. Outside of that, the Vanderbilt running backs had 13 carries for 33 yards. If they replicate that in Austin, I don't think they'll like their chances. They know they have to run the football more effectively against Texas than they did against Missouri, because this is not a home game. This is a road game. So we talk about Texas having established a run and run the football, but Clark Lee and that staff knows they have to run it better against Texas than they did at Missouri or against Missouri, because the home games are over for them. This is a road game against a very talented team who can defend the run, and can rush the passer. So to put Pavia in the best position they can Saturday, Bobby, they're going to have to establish some sort of run with the backs.
I agree with that. Cedric Alexander, Austin LBJ product, is their top rusher, by the way, on the season. He's a very good, heady running back, but also hard to bring down. Hard-nosed player, smaller than your typical SEC running back, but runs hard. They've got a good offense. They've got good pieces to the puzzle. I think that, Jerry, not only do they have a good tight end in Eli Stowers, their number 2 tight end is really, really good too, and talented. So we'll see if he becomes a factor in the game. One of the things that Rod has talked about, and I know you've heard this too, Jerry and Blake, Rod Babers here at On Texas Football has been mentioning that Vanderbilt likes its tight ends, and furthermore, the one spot that Texas has given up some things to has been the tight end the last 2 games. You think about Kentucky, they utilized the tight end. Mississippi State utilized the tight end heavily. So that may be the matchup between the matchup. You know what I mean? If we can see Texas kind of mitigate that Eli Stowers possibility, that may be a big point of emphasis for Texas this week, or Vanderbilt, conversely.
Well, let's jump over to some questions this morning. Let's see here. First, let's do this one from Torrid717. And, this is when we were talking about the FBI and the ESPN predictions. But Torrid says, has A&M beat a better team than Oklahoma, Bobby?
Oh, yeah.
I think Notre Dame is better.
On the road, no question. Not even close.
Yeah. Notre Dame is a better team than Oklahoma. Oklahoma, I mean, their offense is in disarray. Their defense is not as good as they think it is because they have issues on the back end. Personal opinion.
Yeah.
And frankly, R. Mason Thomas, as good as he is as a pass rusher, not that good against the run. So they give up a little bit. So I think OU is not. OU should not. First of all, OU should not be ranked ahead of Texas right now. I don't care if
it's a dumb.
Yeah, I mean that game happened on a neutral field. Texas beat them by double digits. I mean, but you know that's neither here nor there. That'll change this weekend, good or bad for Texas, and good or bad for OU. I mean, I just think that's wrong, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
And then a question from Sarah McCoy says, is there any Big 12 football team that belongs in the top 10 at this point? Lots of whining going on among Big 12 vloggers and fans. Rodney Dangerfield Conference. No respect.
No.
Because nobody watches it.
Yeah.
The TV ratings came in again this week, by the way. The only games that had more than 5 million viewers were all SEC games. Not a single Big 10 game, not a single Big 12 game, only SEC games. Jerry, do you think BYU and Texas Tech are truly top 13 teams? Do you think Virginia is really number 15? It's kind of interesting how.
Well, my problem with the Big 12 fan base is you're now forced to push Cincinnati as one of your teams. And I'm not saying Cincinnati is not a good team, but they did lose to Nebraska to start the year.
How about Houston at 22?
Yeah, but I mean, Cincinnati, like college game days going to Cincinnati and Utah. Like people are talking about if Cincinnati wins out there in the playoffs. I mean, I think that's a little ridiculous. BYU obviously is the top ranked team. Now Cincinnati has at Utah and BYU. So if they win those games and they go 11-1, somebody's getting in. But again, I guess my point is you're resorting now to pushing Cincinnati. And that's not disrespect. I think Satterfield's a good coach, but that's not where you were at the start of the season. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, look, if Texas Tech loses another conference game where they're at K-State this weekend, if they lose another conference game, that league takes a big hit.
Yeah.
Because they were the team from an NIL perspective that everybody was talking about. If they go 10-2 and aren't really in the playoff picture, that league's going to take a hit. The question I have, and this is big when we talk about college football playoffs now, because the question is, one of the big questions has been, okay, after Texas took the loss to Florida, if they finish 9-3, can Texas get in? Well, it looks like Notre Dame will win out unless it's a real big toast up. So they're going to take a spot at 10-2. So the question is, does the Big 12 get in 2 teams? If the Big 12 doesn't get in 2 teams, then a 9-3 has a possibility, I think. If you look at where the playoffs are headed, because the likelihood is the ACC will get in 2. Now, I say that, and boy, I'm betting on Carson Beck to win at SMU this weekend, which that's probably dumb. But because of the interception issues. But if the Big 12 doesn't get in 2, then I'll throw this scenario out to you guys. Texas beats Vanderbilt, loses at Georgia, beats Arkansas, and then 11-0 A&M comes to Austin ranked 2 or 3 in America. And Texas beats A&M and is 9-3. Does Texas get in at 9-3 as the last team if their last win was Texas A&M, who was undefeated? That's the question. I mean, that's a big question right now for me is can a 9-3 get in if that scenario plays out?
I put that exact scenario into ESPN's playoff predictor yesterday, actually. Mm-hmm. Same exact scenario that you said, and it had Texas getting in as the number 12.
If the Big 12 only gets one in, Texas in that scenario might get in at 9-3.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
We lost Bobby.
I think Bobby got so excited he went to order playoff tickets. Whoa!
Dialing back in. Back in a moment. But yeah, I did put that in, and that's what it said, Jerry. I mean, obviously take that with a grain of salt. It's not like that's the gospel truth, but it did say 12 for Texas in that scenario.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
Yep. All right. Welcome back, Bobby.
But I don't think Bobby can hear us. Can you hear us?
Welcome back. Yeah, I've got you. Can you hear me?
We got you. I played the dial-up sound when we lost you, and told everybody you'd be dialing back in here in a moment.
Okay.
All right. Before we lose you again, Bobby, can you tell us about Adam Lowy and the Lowy Law Firm this morning?
Yeah, sure can. Absolutely. Adam and the Lowy Law Firm have been helping injured Texans for 20 plus years. The Longhorn law grad has been helping Texas Texas folks if they've been injured in a car wreck, truck wreck, automobile accident of any kind. Make sure you reach out to them. LowyLawFirm.com. That's LowyLawFirm.com. Thank you, Adam, for all you do for on
Football. I'll finish it for him because we lost him again. But yes, a big thank you to Adam Lowy and the Lowy Law Firm helping injured Texans. By the way, I want to mention if you're interested in 2026 Texas baseball season tickets, the wait list open today, so you can go join that wait list and get your hands on some season.
Hey, by the way, a little nugget here.
What you got?
So obviously, Texas plays Duke in hoops next week, right? Season opener. It's real for Sean Miller. You know what time Texas basketball practices Saturday? 11.
Oh, I figured that's what it was going to be since you were asking that.
Yeah, it's getting real. No, we're not going to go to the game and hang out. We're going to practice. That's what I like to hear. You got a basketball coach. Now, I'm not saying they're going to beat Duke, but I love it. They've seen enough games.
I give up. I'm to the point where I think it's AT&T.
Yeah.
And their Wi-Fi right now. I was talking to Rod and CJ have been having problems with AT&T lately as well. I don't know if y'all heard me or not, but thank you to Adam Lowy, the Lowy Law Firm. He sponsors each and every Wednesday's coffee and football. Adam and his group have been helping injured Texans for 20 plus years. He's a Texas law school grad. If you've been injured in a car wreck, truck wreck, automobile accident of any kind, and think you might be due compensation, make sure you reach out to Adam and his group at LowyLawFirm.com. That's LowyLawFirm.com. Thank you, Adam, for your support of On Texas Football.
I've got a Halloween costume for Bobby. He needs to be dress up as a wide receiver and have the jugs machine catching footballs for his connection, for his drops.
I'm ready for Halloween. I'm ready for Halloween. It's going to be topical. It's going to be fun. I'm ready, man. I'm gonna floor all of you guys. I'm gonna kill it on Halloween. I'm just putting it out there. I'm laying it down. I'm making Jerry up his game. Jerry can't just put a bag over his head like he did last year. You know?
That was a winner, Prep. Even FSU fans appreciated that.
Yes, it was. It was a great costume. It was.
I'm not going to say what I was going to say. That would have been bad. Never mind. I'll move on.
All right. Well, let's do some more questions here. Let's see. Tyler wants to know, do y'all think we load the box against Pavia like they did versus Messier?
I think that Pavia is a little bit. He's a more accurate passer than Matier. First of all, has a better run game support. I think a better run scheme to support him. But Tyler, I wouldn't be surprised if they do some of that. I would not be surprised if they do some of that. Clark Lee mentioned this a little bit in that commentary, Jerry, where he said that they're not a team you want to get behind the chains on. And because they have the long levered, fast guys coming off the edge, they have an Anthony Hill. I could see that happening later. I
think the big difference in these two teams, Oklahoma and Missouri, from how you prepare for them standpoint, Vanderbilt can run option.
Yes.
And that is something you haven't seen this year. You rarely see. Hell, you don't even see it in high school football anymore in big schools. So
Right.
that is a little difference there. They can throw a wrinkle at you that makes it totally different in how you kind of game plan for Vanderbilt. And I think that's going to be an important piece for Vanderbilt Saturday, because what did Clark Lee was kind of giving it away. He was like, Texas is really strong up the middle.
Yep.
He in turn saying we're going to have issues. I don't think their right guard's going to do well against Texas. So how do they maximize their run game? I don't think they think it's going to be inside.
LL says, Jerry, did you listen to the Frank Wilson presser? Why don't they just make him their head coach?
I didn't listen to that, but this is what I'd say about Frank Wilson. Whoever is hired, he'll have a job. I mean, look, he's very important to LSU football. Now, he's been a head coach before at UTSA, and I know it was, right after Larry Coker's second coach all time. He was at McNeese. He's 26-40 as a head coach. He's not going to get the LSU job, but I think he'll be on the next staff. And if he's not, somebody will fight hard to get him on their staff in the SEC to recruit the state of Louisiana.
And they should.
LSU the next coach better keep him on their staff.
Did you see the wide receiver they got even in midst of Brian Kelly's? So this is one of the things you say about LSU. Okay. They got a commitment on Sunday from a wide receiver that decommitted from Louisiana Tech. I'm telling you, if that kid was committed to Louisiana Tech, I don't know how they got him.
Yeah.
That kid's a borderline phenom. And yet in the midst of firing, they get a commitment from him. Now he's from Northern Louisiana, and it's one of those things where teams can do that. Certain teams have that kind of pull in state, and LSU being the only major school in that state gets that benefit.
All right, our last question for today, and it has been asked a couple of times. Locking Horns wants to know, is there an OTF tailgate Saturday? If so, what's the time and place?
I get started at 8 a.m. on Saturday, and you can see the QR code. I think if you can see it on your screen there, just download that. It is with our friends over at Surly Horns. We will be there early Saturday morning, going to hang out with everybody. Going to have eggs and brisket, I think, is the menu, as well as some adult beverages, water if you like it, etc. But please come on by and stop by. Use that QR code to get your tickets. Should be a lot of fun to hang out and get ready for Vanderbilt. First home game in 42 days. Kind of ridiculous, too, that we're going to be into November, Jerry, and we haven't played a Power 4 team at home yet. I mean, in some ways, the home schedule is just starting.
Yeah.
The home schedule is just starting. Somebody asking, wasn't that receiver only a 3-star? Go watch his film and then come back and tell me he's a 3-star.
Yeah.
Did you see it, Jerry? I know you watched it.
I mean, it kind of goes to some of the offensive line questions. Well, why is Texas recruiting 3-stars? Well, Cameron Williams was a 3-star for a lot of people. I was part of national rankings at On 3, and he was not for us. That was not going to happen. But he was a 3-star. Like, Nicholas Robertson's ranked a 3-star. I don't think that kid's a 3-star prospect. So I always take some of that stuff with a grain of salt. Like, well, Texas has too many. Jake Majors was a 3-star for some people. Hayden Connor was a 3-star for some people. Cameron Williams was a 3-star for some people. And I know people. So for the people saying, well, why is Texas recruiting like they're on the offensive line? Well, 3 guys just got drafted and were a free agent. I mean, Texas just had 4 guys drafted. One of them was a 5-star. There aren't many 5-star offensive linemen. One. And Florida, the other thing I'll say about offensive linemen is go check Florida's offensive line rankings. And Texas rolled in there and got beat physically by them. So there's just a lot that goes into it. It's such a developmental position.
And we got a super chat.
Tioga, the receiver committed to LSU, is a very good player.
From Chris here, he says, ultimate Aggie battered fan scenario, undefeated Aggies lose to Texas, then lose to Texas in the SEC championship, then lose to Texas in the college football playoff. And then Chris says, please, God, I need this.
Me too. That would be all time, by the way.
Yeah.
Can that happen, please, Chris? Can you make that happen? I'll add to your super chat. I'll add some money into that.
Serious question, because somebody in the chat earlier said A&M will falter as always. I don't think they have the schedule to. Look, if they beat Missouri this weekend, Missouri has their third team quarterback. I don't think Missouri will be able to score enough points in the game's the issue, because A&M has scored on the road, even though Missouri's good on D. They then have South Carolina at home, who they're going to eat up South Carolina's offensive line with their pass rush. A&M leads the nation in sacks right now, by the way. And then they have Samford.
Yep. I get it.
They should be 11-0 coming to Austin.
And healthy.
Gets hurt. And healthy.
And healthy, because they're not gonna lose people at Sanford, you wouldn't think.
No. You could
interesting if Le'Veon Moss. I'm hearing Le'Veon Moss may not come back this year, Jerry.
That's not
that would be a big loss for them. Puts them down to Reuben Owens and Emmitt Smith's son as a backup. And they have some good guys, but they don't have somebody like Le'Veon Moss that maybe can carry the mail quite as much. Hey, Tony Hills, by the way, just texted me his score prediction. We forgot to ask him as he was leaving today. He says 27-20. Good guys. So he's expecting. Look, that's an offensive showing from Texas. That's an offensive showing. Blake, before we close out, we make a big deal about this being a community of Texas fans that look out for one another and care about one another. I want to end with this today, if y'all don't mind. Scott Wilson is maybe the mega fan to end all mega fans at the University of Texas. He's been to untold number of football games in a row, baseball games in a row. Well loved in and around the Austin area by the athletic department as well as fellow fans. He suffered a heart attack in Jacksonville at the airport going to the Florida game. He has now been moved to hospice, according to this is from his sister that you're reading this note right here. Scott's been moved to hospice within the UF Health Hospital. She posted this on Facebook yesterday. He's been spiraling down over the last 2 weeks. His condition is such that he would never get out to see another game. Look, hug people close to you. Think about them all the time. But Godspeed to Scott Wilson, Texas superfan. He deserves his own segment here, and may he rest once things happen. But best of luck to Scott and his family in a very, very trying time. We care about you, and good luck to you and yours.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode of Coffee and Football, presented by Adam Lowy and the Lowy Law Firm. Of course, we want to thank Adam, along with Mint Mobile, Prize Picks, Harry's, Huel, and Hayes City, all for sponsoring today's show. Thank you all for tuning in as well. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, ring the bell so you're notified anytime we go live, post content, whatever it may be. And speaking of content, Bobby, what do you have for everyone?
Jerry and I and Rod Baber is going to get together for the state of the program in just a few minutes here. And then also we have the Bingham's Bourbon Breakdown coming around 3 o'clock. CJ Vogel, myself, Rod Babers talk about the offense versus the Vanderbilt defense, the Texas defense going up against that offense, and then give our predictions for this weekend's game as well. And then tonight, we'll have Dr. Brett Robin join us, the former Texas running back, join us on the live stream starting around 7:15, 7:30. Dr. Robin will join in. They'll be talking about Arch Manning and the injury report, because it'll come out around 7 o'clock, and whether or not Arch Manning, Cole Hudson, and Michael Taft as well possible on that injury list. We'll see where they're at as well. But a lot of news and notes coming up. Again, Godspeed to Scott Wilson and his family.
Yeah. Okay. Greg Bell, if it for some reason did that, you can go to tinyurl.com/Vandy OTF and it'll take you there. I'll look into why that QR code wasn't working. I'll get it fixed for tomorrow. But tinyurl.com/Vandy VANDY OTF, and that'll take you to that tailgate link. So we hope you all have a phenomenal day today. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow morning. By the way, Joe Zura, 40 days. I just wanted to point that out to Joe Z. And for Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton, I'm Blake Monroe, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.